My name is JoJo. Welcome to 20 minutes of a nice, gentle, restorative yoga sequence for cancer and heart health recovery. So we're gonna get started in just a comfortable seated position, and I've got a chair over here. So if you want to use a chair and sit in a chair, that's great. You could also sit down on the floor, and I've got a folded up nice blanket here, and I've got a cushion here. You could also use a couple pillows stacked on top of each other, or a couch cushion, and that's your bolster. So if you're sitting on the floor, maybe you'd like to tuck your bolster or your cushion under your seat. Maybe you'd like to bring your folded up blanket either on top of that or switch it out and sit on your blanket just for some extra cushion on your seat. We're just going to start by connecting to the breath. Let the body soften and turn your attention to your breath. You could close your eyes, or if that doesn't feel comfortable, you can just turn your gaze down toward the tip of your nose and let your eyelids soften. Let your whole face soften, your jaw relax. Let your shoulders come away from your ears. And then tune into your breath. Watch as your breath comes in through your nose, filling up your belly and chest, and then comes out your mouth, back out of your belly, and then your chest. You have the option to place a hand on your belly and one on your heart. And watch that breath as it moves through you, moving you like the waves of an ocean. Let your breath connect your solar plexus, the spot that governs your confidence and your power. Let it connect it to your heart and accept your own self into your heart. Today we're gonna show ourselves some TLC. Now if you closed your eyes, blink them open, slow, or if you looked down, just turn your gaze up and out. And release your hands if you brought them up. Maybe you roll out your shoulders a little bit here, or your wrists, or both. Just beginning to awaken slowly. Maybe you roll your neck out, take one ear towards the shoulder close to it, and then pull your chin down in through the center and all the way over to the other side. Make these half pendulums around with your neck. Come back to center, lift your head so it stacks straight over your spine. Inhale, reach your arms up toward the ceiling. Exhale and cactus your arms and open up your chest. Inhale, up and out and around. Exhale, cactus arms. One more time. Inhale, up and out. Exhale, cactus your arms. Then with your elbows bent, take them in towards each other and bring your palms together into your heart center. And give yourself a big hug. Wrap your arms around and catch your shoulders or your shoulder blades. Maybe you want a little sway. Open up through your upper back. Give yourself a hug. And release. And take the opposite arm on top, just to even out on both sides. Give yourself another big hug. And let that go. Now, if you're in your chair, go ahead and make your way down to the floor. So you can stand up and then come down and around. Find a seated position. If you've got that blanket or that bolster, you might want to remove as we find our way into a wide-legged seat. So you could maybe use your blanket. We're gonna make our way into a wide-legged seat. Your legs don't have to be super wide. It's a-okay. Maybe they're just a bit wider than hip width distance. Maybe they're stretching out toward the corners of your mat. Flex your feet, root down through your heels, root down through your sits bones into your blanket or the floor. And you can find a little bend in your knees. Just for a moment, explore here. A little bending and straightening, maybe a little bounce. Rock them out and find somewhere that feels comfortable, and it may be with a deep bend, and that's great. It's also great if you want to have them mostly straight. I encourage at least a little micro bend so you're avoiding locking out your knees. If this is a comfortable spot for a deep stretch for you right here, then by all means you can stay. Maybe let your hands rest on your legs or in your lap. If you want to find a fold to potentially open up more through your low back, then you can walk your hands out in front of you a little further. Start to tip your pelvis forward and rock. So maybe you rest onto your hands. If you've got a bolster or a stack of pillows, you could cushion your hands here, your wrists. You could stretch out, bend your elbows, and drop your elbows down to that cushion. Maybe you even make a little shelf for your head. Option to drop your head. If I were in person with you today, I might offer a nice holding of your hands and stretch you out a little further that way, and also give you some lovely touch through the hands. We're just going to breathe here for several breaths, awakening some sensation in your hips and legs, awakening sensation in your back. Go ahead and check in, starting from your toes and moving up through your body. If any part of your body is activating, just skip that part. Just sending awareness to each and every piece of the body. Waking them up with sensation and awareness, just saying hello. Take it up your spine. And let your scan end all the way up through the crown of your head. Continue to breathe deep here. If you found a spot that you feel like is a really good stretch, but it's impeding your breathing, then it might be a little too far. So you might want to back off, maybe come further away from the floor, or wiggle out your knees. Make sure that you're in a spot where you feel like you can breathe. Now we're going to ease our way out of this pose. So if you folded down, make your way back up to a tall spine. Start to wiggle out your legs, your knees, maybe rolling your ankles. Invite a little bend into the knees. And then if you've got a bolster, you can move that off to the side. You can rest your hands by your side or behind you and start to wiggle out. As you wiggle your legs, let your heels bounce closer together. Scoot, scoot, scoot your heels in and in, all the way until your feet come together. Bend your knees deep and give yourself a hug. Pull your knees in toward you. We're gonna make our way down to the floor on our backs. So make your way down slow. If at any point you feel dizzy, you should stop practicing, take a break. And if it persists, then contact your doctor before you do any more practicing. So we're gonna come down and we're getting ready for either legs up the wall or legs on a chair. So if you've got your chair, then you can move it toward you with the seat part of the chair facing you. If you've got a wall, then lie down so that your legs are near that wall. So I'm going to demo first with a chair and then with the wall. So lying on your back with your chair close by, move one foot up into the seat of the chair. Scoot so your hips are parallel with the legs of the chair. Move your other foot up. You can scoot closer. You could let the crooks of your knees rest. And if you want to cradle your head or back with a blanket or bolster, you can feel free. You could also cover yourself up with a blanket if you get cold. Now, if you're near your wall, then you'll send your legs to go up the wall. Lie back. Use your heels to pull your hips close to the wall and scoot yourself in. Maybe you flex your feet. And feel anything that doesn't serve you rising up through your legs and leaving through the soles of your feet. Again, if you want your blanket underneath your head or over your arms, then feel free. Grab that and make any adjustments that you'd like. Maybe you also want to support your hips a little more. If you're on the floor, you might want to take this bolster and slide it up under your hips for a version of this legs up the wall. You could do that if your legs are on the chair as well. And just find a spot where you can breathe. So if you have difficulty breathing or your breathing is catching, that might be a sign that that's not the spot for you. You can place your hands on your belly, or one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart, if that feels nice. If it doesn't, you could let your arms rest by your sides. And if it feels nice to close your eyes, you could do so. If it doesn't, then you can let them just rest in a soft focus. So you can kind of see all of the room. There's no one laser focus for your eyes to go. Start to awaken your toes, your ankles. If you're up against the wall, walk your feet closer to you, then roll yourself onto one side. If you're at your chair, you can take your feet down away from the chair off to the side and lift yourself up. And then go ahead, if you've got that chair, you're gonna want to just scoot it off to the side, remove it off to the side somewhere. And we're going to come into a supine twist. So there are two different ways to do this. I'm gonna show you both. The first way is if you'd like to face the floor. Maybe you want your blanket or your bolster. So I'm gonna take my bolster. And I'm turned to face my bolster. I'm gonna roll to one side, like I'm in a fetal position. So my knees go off one direction, doesn't matter which. And then turn so that my chest comes down toward the bolster. You can cradle it. You could kind of cactus your arms and rest your ear on your bolster, or make a little pillow with your arms. So the first way is facing the floor. If that doesn't feel good, maybe there's not enough space for your chest or your belly, hey, that's fine. You can find your way into a supine twist on your back. You might not need the bolster up by your chest for this one. So make your way to your back, and then let your knees go to one side, and you might want to take the bolster in between your knees in this posture, or your blanket. You can take it in between your knees. Then let that opposite shoulder start to roll open. You could take your arms out in a cactus shape with elbows bent, or straight out in a T shape. I don't have quite enough room here with the wall. Breathe this twist in. With each exhale, see if you can let something else go, something that doesn't serve you. You want to be aware of your sensation in this posture. So maybe in your legs and your hips, your spine and your shoulders. And now make yourself aware of the sneaky little parts of the body that aren't directly involved with the twist that might still be carrying some tension. Your fingers, your jaw, your eyebrows, even your tongue perhaps, maybe your toes. Work to relax whatever's not directly twisting or activated in your twist, as well as those big muscles that you're more aware of in your total body context of your twist. Send your awareness to all the nooks and crannies, every part. Getting ready to shift to the other side of your twist. So if you're on your back, you can move your knees up through the center and over to the other side, maybe making some counter adjustment with your hips to bump them off to the other direction a little bit. And if you're facing the floor, then you might want to press up. Move your knees through the center and come down on the other side and turn your chest toward that bolster or blanket and take your other twist. Anytime you notice that your thoughts have strayed off, it's a-okay, it's so natural. Just gently and with kindness, guide your thoughts back to a place of stillness. Maybe you focus on your breath and really investigate those breaths. Where do you feel them most? You could even count your breaths for aid to your focus. And be kind to yourself. Everybody's mind wanders. You're never going to shut off your thoughts altogether. We're getting ready to come back out of this twist. So make your way nice and slow. If you're facing the floor, you may use your hands to press up. We're going to make our way into a seated position. If you're on your back, then you can turn over to one side. Make your way to your side and press up. Use your hands. And come back to your seat. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. We end our yoga class with an acknowledgement of the light and love all around us. It can be hard to see it in these dark times, but know that you are loved and you are light. The light and love in me honors the light and love in you. Namaste. Thank you for joining me for some healing, recovery, for cancer and heart health. So I hope that you have a lovely rest of your day.